Hello everybody, welcome to the Bridge School Diary. Have you ever asked yourself why some people are more successful than the others? What is the logic and science behind success? Well, here we have in the Bridge Business and Leadership Club some of the world's leading billionaires who are going to share some tips on the key to their success.
Firstly, thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure. So, advice number one, value your time by putting a price tag on it. Your time is the greatest resource and one thing you can get back. To execute at the top level, you have to understand the full gravity of time. It's imperative to prioritize your life and business in a way that lines up with what you value most. Advice number two, stay curious. Stick to what you know. Is a strict school of thought in many entrepreneurship circles. After living that for many years, I've come to believe just the opposite. By keeping your mind open to new ideas and embracing novelty, you do make opportunities for yourself. By exposing yourself to a multitude of business and products, your scope expands. Last but not least, control your thought. Most of all my lessons came from failures, setbacks and defeats. Although painful, they developed the self-awareness to grow. Conversely, if you always have your blinders on, your perspective becomes too narrow and you miss out on promising opportunities.
Thank you for inviting me. Well, I believe that there are three fundamental rules you need to follow in order to be successful in any type of business. Number one, give your customer what they want, which means focus on something the customer wants, and then deliver it. Number two, to succeed in this world, you have to change all the time, so you need to be flexible and adaptable. Number three, always remember which expectations are key to everything. So, act to yourself and act consequently.
What we need to do is always lean to the future. When the world changes around you and it changes against you, what used to be a tailwind is now a headwind. You have to lean into that and figure out what to do, because complaining is not a strategy. In the old world, you devoted 30% of your time to build a great service and 70% of your time to shouting about it. In the new world, that inverts. I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that, but I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying.
First of all, you have to treasure your failures, because the only way you're going to have success is to have a lot of failures first. Secondly, aim as high as you can. It is easier to make progress on mega ambitious dreams, since no one else is crazy enough to do it. You have little competition. Furthermore, it's very hard to fail completely if you aim high enough. And remember, anything you can imagine is probably doable. You just have to imagine it and work on it. Third thing that has undoubtedly worked for me is working hard to make a difference. We should be building great things that don't exist.
First of all, I would suggest you to have a goal. Don't just make a goal to make a lot of money or get promoted to whatever. Figure out how to make things better or to do something significant. If the company or the product doesn't exist yet, be on the forefront of making it real. Secondly, don't fear failure. Failure is a normal part of the innovation process. Make friends with it. Failure is generative. It is a necessary component of innovation. And at the end, I would suggest you to choose to be extraordinary. People can choose to be ordinary. Choose the opposite. Challenge and question norms. Do the unexpected. Strive always for greater goals and deeds.
First, well, I would definitely say, always aim high. It's very hard to fail completely if you aim high enough. For a lot of companies, it's useful to feel like they have an obvious competitor, and to rally around that, I personally believe it's better to shoot higher. You don't want to be looking at your competitors, you want to be looking at what's possible and how to make the world better. Number two, optimism is important, especially in getting goals. You have to be a little silly about the goals you are going to set. You should try to do things that most people would not do. Number three, remember, it's easier to make progress on mega ambitious dreams since no one else is crazy enough to do it, so you have little competition.
Number 1. Patience is a key element for success. Success usually comes after a lot of trial and a lot of failures. Successful individuals are those who have the patience to stick through all of the frustrating moments along the way. Number 2. Never stop seeking for improvement. In order to do that, everyone needs a coach. It doesn't matter whether you're a basketball player, a tennis player, a gymnast, or a bridge player. We can only improve so much on our own, which is why we need a coach or a mentor to help us. This is the best way to ensure you are continuing to live up to your full potential. Last one, don't compare yourself with anyone in this world. If you do so, you are insulting yourself. We all have unique gifts and our own ways of contributing to the greater good. By trying to copy someone else, you are shortchanging yourself and depriving the world of all you have to offer.
To begin with, I think it's a simple rule of business. If you do the things that are easier first, then you can actually make a lot of progress. But the most important way to look at your business is that mistakes are a fundamental part of the game. Many businesses get worried about looking like they might make a mistake. They become afraid to take any risk. Companies are set up so that people judge each other on failure. But the truth is, in a world that's changing really quickly, the other strategy that is guaranteed to fail is not taking risks.